Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wandering Party. This is another episode featuring a regular cast of Claire, Silent, Azury, and Beth. Playing various characters in this 5e homebrew world of Raspedas.
Oi.
What are you eyeing me for? Check yourself.
Oi.
Oi! Damn yourself! And I am Ross, the ever-insufferable DM. I don't know. Some other words about DMing. Fuck knows. You want inspirational shit, go watch somebody else. I mean, what?
I don't think you're meant to tell your listeners to go listen to other people.
No. He said watch.
Shit.
He said watch.
Yeah, I know.
They have to listen to
other
us.
People. You will listen to me.
This releases to YouTube too.
Yeah, but still audio only. It's just that they can watch whatever they like. As long as they listen to it. Yeah, but let's be real.
If they are spending the entire session just watching a still image, then more power to them.
Means they have more attention span than I fucking do. Jesus Christ, I can hardly keep looking at you guys and play a game. I have to look at something else.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome, Beth.
Wow.
I presume they listen whilst they're doing other stuff.
Well, I'd like to summarise, also for the podcast, if this makes the edit, my players repeatedly go, fuck you, Ross, or Ross, you're an arsehole. So I think I'm allowed to be a dick to them from time to time.
No,
Yeah,
we do it from a place of love.
It.
Yeah, so do you. Right, so we return to the party as Retsam has just had a nice little conversation with Amara, the young drow. We return to inside the tavern as we have Alice and Celeste. You two are in the tavern. Most of the people are outside. You actually know Dartham has appeared after with his fiery red hair and bushy beard. He's appeared from the basement and he's carrying kegs that he's hooking up to the taps. But it's just you two and him in the bar at the moment.
Alice sat by the fire, trying to keep nice and warm with her hot chocolate and rum. And is just generally keeping an eye between Thrad and Celeste.
Of course, the Dragonborn is present. The Dragonborn is just sat at the hearth, just a little way from it, just enough to be warm, but not super warm. He's just sipping what looks to be actually cold water, which is a bit of a surprise.
Oh.
Celeste, what are you doing?
He's occupying the fireplace, isn't he? Near there?
Between him and Alice, yes.
There is space between the two of us to pull off another chair, though.
I'm not getting near the chicken. She's on the opposite side. Probably a bit cold. She's probably prestidigitating herself to clean
Mm-hmm.
the dryness. Still keeping a wary eye of
The Dragonborn just continuously observes and sneezes, apparently. Just watching, waiting. Alice, you would know from the way that Thrad is moving, he's literally playing mind games to Celeste at the moment.
Oh, this is fun. She will just sit there happily sipping her hot chocolate and rum, just enjoying every second of it.
It's very clear he is just playing mind games with Celeste at this point.
Why don't you come join us, Celeste?
Yes, get into the range of the fire so you'll actually warm up. You look pretty still soaked through.
Nope, just give me a few more minutes. I'll be nice and dry and warm. Prestidigitate. Ah, headache. Prestidigitate.
There are easier ways to do that.
But sitting by a fire.
Or going and getting changed.
But of course, with his arrogance, they have to rely on magic to do everything.
That sounds like a them problem.
It really does, doesn't it? You have no idea during the war how unbearable Westminster could be.
I can only imagine.
God, then there was Carly. Jeez. Though I wouldn't say that anywhere near her, especially not what she could hear, because Jesus Christ, she was scary.
Carly?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He pauses. She's the mother of your guild mistress. The premier shadow sorcerer in the world for her entire lifespan. Was a school teacher, went to war, killed a whole lot of shit, then fought Tiamat. She turned two of Tiamat's children against each other through her
really
use of magic.
Impressive.
The Dragonborn nods. Terrifyingly scary woman.
You know, I might have slept during that part of history class, she says as she keeps persisting.
Strike two, is all the Dragonborn says simply to Alice.
So tell me more about the war.
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. Not really one for the sort of jolly environment you expect out of Yule, I'm afraid.
Families
shrugs.
usually end up fighting, so this is fairly quiet.
Fair enough. What specifically do you want to know? Like, I mean, what do you already know?
Very little other than it happened and lots of dragons were killed.
Okay, I mean, fair. Your family tried to stay out of it, even though you were the premier dragon hunters. It's fair enough. Didn't want to leave your ancestral forests. I can understand that. Didn't really want to leave my ancestral lands, but hey, such is life. The primary contingent that went to help essentially landed in what was Grey Hollow, though is now a half submerged ruin, and then marched from there sort of northeast towards the forests along the Lilacian South Age border. They reached this city not far from there where, well, we were, to put it politely, we were met by an overwhelming force and nearly crushed. Tiamat's red child, who had devastated the dwarves of Rockhall, had taken a particular interest to that area of forest and the mountains to the south. And, well, while we were fighting the land battle, the dragon did what dragons are wont to do. Flew overhead and, well, the elves found me 3 days after the battle, partially crushed underneath the body of said red child Tiamat. That was fun.
I can only imagine.
Don't ever kill a dragon by slicing it open while you're under it and it's swooping down at you.
I don't ever plan on getting that close to a dragon. She pats where Sal usually is.
Yeah, Sal isn't there. He's like, I'm very glad I was very angry at that situation, at that point. Raging, in fact. I survived by sheer force of will, from what they tell me. I met a number of people who become my lifelong friends when I woke up. Several of the Malbecs themselves took an interest in the fact that I was the only survivor. They recognised who I was, helped patch me back together, and between us, we went east and continued the fight, eventually confronting Tiamat herself in what became a great crater. Was once a mountain, reduced to nothing as we, well, basically had to carve a hole straight back to Tiamat's prison in hell. One of them, anyway. Into the abyss. They were never clear on that.
Stop it.
She's trying to figure out where the abyss fits into the hells. Or even if she knows where the abyss fits into the hells.
Suffice to say, Westminster has been doing planner research on and off ever since to make sure that we can recognise if there are signs. But he looks down at Flicker, who's apparently going ballistic in the tavern, like playing with a toy, like a little boot. A little red booty, to be precise. He pauses, he takes a long sip of his drink. He pauses and takes a long sip of his drink. Is that dog okay?
Becca.
Are you okay, Dexter?
On your bed, please.
You fucking insane four-legged what's it? He sort of reaches up and you get the impression as he goes to stroke his chin in a very old elf kind of way, he scratches across his jaw and he's like, pick this gesture up from the elves. Helps me think. And he's scratching along the his lower jaw.
I'm not quite sure that's how it's meant to work.
I had to adapt it, he says simply.
But you don't have a beard to stroke.
Nor do the elves, but it's something about the chin. He says, just like, It's... He's clearly struggling with the memories. A difficult thing. I lost thousands of friends that day. And then, well, other than the conversations I had with some of the elves, I must admit my sole focus was on beating the ever-living shit out of that five-headed bitch.
Completely understandable.
Yeah. She almost killed me, you know.
She almost killed a lot of people.
I know, but it's not very often when she knew my name and tried directly to kill me.
How?
Something he gestures vaguely at his own scale. Something of being a failure to all chromatics because I refused to side with my true kin or something along those lines. I wasn't really listening. I was a bit angry at the time. And then I carved the white head off her fucking scaly body.
There is part of me that wishes I'd been there. But then
Really
no.
don't. The other thing that really sucks is trying to escape a mountain as it's literally collapsing into the abyss. That you wouldn't have liked.
Yeah, no. I'm quick, but I'm not that quick.
I bounced.
Bet that hurt.
Some people cast fly. Some people had feather fall. I just had gravity.
Ouch.
As I said, very thankful that I got very angry.
And kept being very angry.
Kept being very angry even as my ribcage collapsed. That was fun.
Ooh.
There's a reason they called me unkillable.
Well, I mean, you're the oldest dragonborn I've ever met.
And I will continue to be that way, I suspect, for a very long time.
Until, you know, she kind of points to the sky.
Yeah, until that happens. That or some wizard decides to figure out how to crossbreed an elf and a dragonborn or some weird shit like that.
She just kind of shudders slightly.
Have you seen Chimera? Literally the only excuse anyone can come up with that is a wizard did it.
I mean, a wizard probably did do it.
Yeah, not just in the scientific sense.
Oh, God.
No. It's kind of little. It's
The
kind of little
dragonborn laughs.
scientific. So it's kind of starts private. No, it's a little bit more scientific in a way. It's like scientific with a mix of magic.
If you're trying to justify the creation of an aberration that continues to go around murdering people while propagating its
No.
species, please continue talking. It's an arcane tone goes off in it's less sad. Weird. He sort of just looks at Alice. Well, I mean, I don't really know what you want me to explain other than the fact it was incredibly traumatic. Lots of people died. I nearly died. A number of my friends nearly died.
I was just making conversation.
Oh, sorry. The war is a difficult topic.
That is completely understandable. It's never easy to lose so many.
No, I think we can both agree on that fact.
She nods.
Still, there's hope for us all. The clan survives.
Just.
Well, he shrugs and gestures vaguely at Primal. Yeah, just about.
Whatever happens, though, this trip to the Underdark's going to be interesting.
That's putting it very mildly. Never been down there myself.
Oh, that will answer my next question then.
Why do you think the other week I tried to get hold of a lot of people who might have expertise to try and help you all? I've never been to the Underdark. Though unlike most of my kin, my vision is not obstructed by darkness, regardless of its origin.
That's handy, isn't it?
You know, it's, yes, very. Makes me wonder, though, how they survive down there, those poor drow.
I assume they get used to it. I mean, Zanzyk has to wear those glasses.
But that's the sun. He shakes his head. Oh well, regardless. Regardless, it'll be difficult for you, but it'll be interesting to watch.
I just hope we can get some goggles or something for Celeste, because she's not going to be able to see a thing down there.
Again, as Chris walks in, he goes, "You guys are given a box full of dark vision goggles."
I haven't been told what's in the box. Everyone
Chris
just
is-
keeps saying there's a box.
Chris just like hands you the box. It's full of goggles of dark vision for those who don't have dark vision, and it improves dark vision for those who do, unless you're a drow, in which case, fuck you.
Okay, so we have dark vision goggles, and she's just like, well, that's that problem solved.
Thrad is just watching you as you come to this realization. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Oakes, or is it Lady Oakes? Technically, you inherit the title. He says simply,
Oh shit, I'm a lady.
"Yeah, though your clan would have known for being nobles, nor bothering to turn up for sessions. Don't worry." Last time an Oakes turned up for one of the court sessions, someone thought the world was ending.
I'm assuming because the world's still here that it didn't.
No, but they didn't stop them preaching about it for 40 years. Regardless. He pauses. It'll certainly be interesting to see what happens in the near future. Your trip to the Underdark, I suspect, will be fruitful.
It's either going to be fruitful or end up with us all dead. So
Please don't die.
I'm not planning on it. I have a child to come back and look after.
I'm sorry,
Kobold.
that is not an option.
No, because if you die down there, Westminster will be most put out.
I have other reasons.
If there's one creature you should fear more than any other, it's a
It's
pissed off
Westminster.
Westminster.
No, there's other things I can fear. It's called a mother.
Yes, but
Yeah.
Westminster will wake you up from your death and go, "You're a silly shit," slap you across the face, and then hand you to your mother.
I mean, I remember the first time I came home with a broken rib. My mother went absolutely mental.
I just not. Don't get me started. The first time I broke my knuckles because I punched some bastard in the face because they were hitting on my sister. Well, hey. I mean, it doesn't help my case that she ended up marrying the bloke. But regardless,
Did you like him in the end?
no, his jaw never realigned. They couldn't fix it.
So just animosity until the day they died.
Why do you think I stayed in Masonair rather than going back to Primor after the war?
I would like to think it's because you found elves more tolerable, but she just
Fuck
kind
no.
of
Have you seen how
chuckles.
pretentious some of these bastards are? Nothing was more satisfying than helping the elves train their new recruits, because they'd look at me and go, "Well, I'm 100 years old, therefore I'm far more skilled at fighting than you." And I was like, "You barely know how to hold a sword, correct? Come here, kid." Ah, the number of broken noses and ribs. They called it the Thrad test by the end of the month.
It only lasted a month.
Yeah, something like grievous bodily harm.
Yeah, there's no point training soldiers if there aren't any left to send out by the time they finish their training.
Well, then they should stop opening their mouth and saying "mayfly" as a derogatory insult to someone who lives for less time than them.
I mean, that's not one I've personally heard. But
They called me a scaly mayfly bastard, so I broke their ribs.
I was more restrained than I probably would have been.
I mean, a few of them definitely never fathered children, but hey.
She just kind of thinks it's over for a minute. I don't want to know.
You see Celeste just turn her head, and she's decided to go get a nice hot cider.
Thrad seems totally nonplussed by this. As Celeste begins walking away, Thrad just into his own mouth, / give me a dexterity saving throw.
Really?
What did you roll?
Solid 16.
As you put your foot on the ground, there is no traction, only ice. As you put your weight on that foot without really realizing, you slip backwards and land on your back on the floor. Whoops.
Yeah.
That's all that the Dragonborn says.
Whoops. Celeste says.
Alice chuckles slightly, but manages to stop herself, like laughing too loud.
It's almost like someone thrown like a snowball at the wrong person.
she kind of just shrugs, all like,
It's at this point the door pushes open. Retsam, if you want to re-enter the tavern, this is when you sort of reappear.
Retsam reappears with
You're
a
muted,
flourish.
Retsam.
No, he isn't.
Retsam enters. He enters the tavern with a flourish. You see Celeste on her back, like having slipped on a patch of ice, and Alice and Thrad sat by the fire.
I offer Celeste a helping hand up, using my stout frame to aid her in getting off of the ground.
I get up. I help. I take the hand for help. Thank you. And I go. Wait, psychical. I go and get hot cider.
Mm-hmm. You are handed a hot chocolate. Wait, hot cider? You were handed a hot chocolate. Fuck you.
You should note that when we say cider, it's alcoholic and your character has stated not drinking.
That's fine.
It's Yule. No one gives a fuck. You were given a hot chocolate.
The tavern is anti-magical, right? Right?
No comment.
Like, hot
It's
chocolate.
selectively.
There are some
You know what?
anti-magic wards. What they are, we haven't actually been told.
Okay,
You've never
primarily
asked.
it's there to stop people taking like a copper and passing it off as gold. Because that happened. We got scammed.
Did the elves give her the hot chocolate?
They are not there.
They're not there?
They're at the front serving the mulled cider, mulled
gave you
wine,
the
hot chocolate to the rest of town.
Who gave me the hot chocolate?
Duffham did. He looks at you from behind the bar and goes, "What? Have you used all the mulled cider?"
All right, I'll tell them fine. She'll drink the hot chocolate.
I could put some alcohol in it if you want.
No,
really good with
I'll be
rum.
fine. I'll be fine.
You
I'll
sure?
Be fine. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Just sip the chocolate.
Dartham's like, "I've been experimenting with these berries. They call them the devil's berries."
Devil's berries.
Yeah.
Are they that good or that bad?
I don't know. They're just really slow.
Maybe you could make what's that really perfumey drink called? A gin?
Oh, a gin. Yeah, no, I was thinking about that.
That could be
really?
quite nice.
What would you do with that?
I don't know. Maybe I'd give it to a particularly busy individual and ask them to taste test it.
Sold. Invest some monies in this project.
Do you already have? It's called my salary.
I mean, that's your salary. That's investing in you, but in
Which I in turn invest in the invention.
But that feels like we're not effectively paying you if you do that.
I mean, I live here. He says simply.
Yeah. So?
I mean, ask Chris for a research and development budget.
On it.
I think that sounds like a pretty good idea, to be honest.
I'm going to file that for the next chapter meeting.
Outside, she's just son of a bitch. Someone's added something to the agenda.
Talking about business, Retsam, I figured you're probably the best person to ask.
Yes.
Who do I talk to about setting up a daycare / crash / night care business for small children whose parents need to be elsewhere?
Okay, so what we may want to do, because I've gone to the orphanage with the intent of starting a full-on school for the young'uns, rather than making them wait until they're college age and ready to apprentice. Just teaching them the basics of life. But the ones that are too young, we can also see about doing more of a preschool school.
That sounds like a plan.
So if the orphanage finds my proposal agreeable, then I shall try and roll that in. Otherwise, you may have to get like a bunch of birds together and get them to like retweet you a few times. That usually helps. It's old magic.
I will bear that in mind and speak to the druid about it whenever they arrive back.
Great tweeting.
She looks stressed. No offense or anything. I know you're all naturey too, but
Druid likes birds. I was a bird.
you say that. You could have just been going crazy.
And was the bird going crazy at the same time?
Yeah, probably.
You're going crazy. Shut up.
You are the three-eyed raven.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyhow, what are we talking to the king about?
War.
War never changes.
Bad memories is all the Thrad provides simply.
Memories.
And some good memories, I guess.
So tell us some of your better memories then that aren't quite so horrific and blood.
I have one question directly related
Directly related to
this, everything. Good memories and more. What was your favorite Yuletide gift?
He opens his mouth to pause for to the second, and he pauses for a second. If you'll excuse me for being rather sentimental, as I'm sure you've figured out by now, I was around when a certain generation of elves were being, born and were very young. There was a elfling in particular, an adopted child of a set of friends. She drew me a picture for Yule.
Yeah.
He nods. And I kept that picture with me until the damn parchment disintegrated. He laughs sadly. I handed the battered remnants of it back to her on her 100th birthday. She'd drawn it for me when she was 5. Ironically, after I parted with it less than 3 hours later, I was, passed away from old age. Smiles faintly. But that picture was my favorite Yuletide gift.
That's kind of adorable.
He shrugs. Yeah, and all the scales and plate armor. This poor bastard's a softie. God help me.
You've admitted that out loud now. You can never take that back.
Well, someone has to know.
Your secret's safe with us.
Somehow I doubt that. You've got Westminster's brat here.
It's very true. Are you going to come over and join us, Celeste?
Am I gonna be tripping on ice along the way?
Depends, you know, huck another snowball my way and fail?
No.
Then no.
Okay. She'll make her way over to the fire. Has anyone... Where's Zanzyk gone to?
I went to church.
Speaking of which, Zanzyk, this is about the time you'd make it back to the tavern.
Mm-hmm. I walk back in with another glass of mulled wine in my hand.
I mean, there's absolutely no reason Zanzyk needs to go to church. We've got a fully functional altar downstairs.
I mean, said fully functioning altar doesn't have their matron mother, so...
You're making assumptions there.
As I hear this, as I walk up behind Retsam, Yes, but people aren't down there.
I mean, you can invite people down there. Sneaky son of a...
I mean, it is sometimes nice to go see people.
Look, I promise you it's not creepy to go up to some people on the street and say, "Hi, do you want to come into my basement and see my altar?"
Hey, I might not have been up on the upworld a long time, but I still know you're full of shit.
Yeah, but you hang out with me anyway.
I know. I pull up a chair and sit by the fire. I'm probably very rosy cheeked, which is ironic because I'm a drow.
Yeah,
You're purple cheeked.
Lavender cheeked.
Mm-hmm.
do you happen to know a way to get in contact with Westminster?
I mean, yes. Why?
I have to talk to him. I kind of guess I got caught up in the joy of Yule. I forgot that I actually needed to talk to him.
Is this one of these talks where you then leave?
Where I'm gonna leave.
That's generally what happens. They call someone, they leave. I'm already still fishing the stone out my pocket to give you. Or my bag.
No, not leave. I need to talk to him about some important things back at home.
Okay. I just hand you the stone.
And she will go ahead and contact Westminster. Westminster.
You have 25 words or less.
Fuck, I should have actually thought of that. I'll get
Use
back
it
to you.
wisely.
I need to think about that.
Whilst Azury is thinking, I'm going to fish out the present from the matron mother out of my pocket and open it.
Inside is a small hand-carved holy symbol. It's originally hand-carved from wood, though it has some very nice, elegant silver and gold inlay.
I smile and just attach it to my necklace.
Mm-hmm.
So how was everyone's afternoon?
It's been pretty chill.
Or evening, I guess.
You guys hear the clock ting midnight.
Sounds like it might be bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
And Alice will get to her feet and stretch. Like, if there is nothing else that needs discussing this evening, I'm gonna go hit the hay.
Retsam, are we leaving after the auction tomorrow?
The auction is tomorrow eve. We can rest through the day. Well, I'd say I can rest through the day so that we can do a midnight move if you wish.
I just think probably the sooner we leave, the better.
Then I shall not rush up in the morning.
Fair. I got Amara to distribute the letters too regarding the charity drive for South Sage that we discussed a while ago. See if we can collect stuff from the people and send it over to them so they start to relive in their city. Try and get something back to normal.
Hopefully it will help.
I'll talk to Chris and get him to send it on once he's collected everything.
So what is the plan after the auction? You guys are going to go to the dwarves and then let us know what's going on once you're there? Or
Yes.
contact Westminster to drop us off or bring you back?
Well, the problem with bringing us back is we'll still have the cart. I'm wondering whether it's worth us all going. I think originally the plan was that Retsam and I would leave before Yule. But we did not. I'm not sure I see the sense of us all going, now that I think about it.
So we will leave then.
Unless you wish to stay behind.
I'm not letting you guys do this on your own.
I mean, we're not doing it on our own. We've got the cart.
I'll make sure the cart is ready to go in the morning.
Right, Alice with that will nod and head up to bed.
As soon as Alice is out of earshot, I kind of lean in and whisper to Zanzyk, she sure likes to escape from the baby a lot.
I'm kind of wondering whether we should suggest she stays with Gobold and then we call her, but...
She goes having this conversation. Chris stumbles back in looking incredibly tired and he just heads straight up to bed.
Night, Chris.
You get, and like smoke like comes out of his mouth. Like you don't get a very vocal response.
Merry Yule, Chris.
You just say, Merry Yule. Then you hear a thud at the top of the stairs.
Perhaps I should go help the elves finish up.
Thrud pushes her to suit there, a yawn. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, your kingness.
Sense. I'm actually gonna send tomorrow in the morning time. I
Sure?
forgot. Yes, I would not want to piss off him. He's probably sleeping right now.
I would appreciate that because he might take the stone back. And it's kind of unuseful.
Yeah. So
Yeah. The time difference between there and Biken is about the same time difference between East Coast USA and mainland Great Britain.
So he's probably already getting up, is what you're saying.
It's bear in mind he was awake less than 3 hours ago your time.
Yeah, so he's probably already getting up.
Possibly, but he may actually be asleep because he may have gone KO from being having overindulged. So you may wake him up from an actual sleep where he's actually sleeping and where he may or may not be going into a hangover.
Well, it's up to Celeste if she wants to risk her internal studying.
I believe Celeste has made the appropriate call.
Well, Retsam is not going to be rushing to bed because he will be sleeping in the morning.
Let's go get up and go and see if the elves need help.
And the elves, as you head outside, are actually clearing up as the most people that are in the city aren't elves, and that you're pushing it's past midnight. People are heading to bed.
He'll help him then tidy up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the table has been back inside. They ran out of alcohol, so there's nothing to pack up there really, apart from some empty bottles and things.
I think he still helps.
Mm-hmm. And a short time later, everything's packed up, and the two elves sort of nod at you, and they start locking up the tavern to head out. They don't live here, so.
Yeah, let's go say goodbye.
They nod. They toss you the key that's Chris's, but he's clearly already gone to bed, so you can lock the front door behind them.
Time to raid Chris's office.
I gave you the front door key. They didn't give you Chris's office key.
Does he not have a big keychain with all of the keys on it? Disappointed.
No, he doesn't, because that's not safe at all, and he is inclined with the sneaky kind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can try and break into his office if you really want.
No, I don't want to leave any evidence. God. That'd be terrible.
Would.
Well, Retsam is going to go make himself a snack in the kitchen.
Okay. Everything is off and is cold.
But we probably have cold cuts of meat, cold cuts of bread, and maybe a tomato.
Okay, you find just enough to make yourself a sandwich.
Heckin' yeah.
A ham and tomato sandwich.
I mean, what's the point in living if you don't feel alive?
Don't know.
I'm living life on the edge right now, Ross. You
Ask
can't
for
stop
brown
me.
sauce.
No. The tomato's just got enough zing in it.
Ah, okay.
But as I sit at the bar eating my sandwich and Zance comes in with the key, I'll be like, I feel like we should do like the free festive drinks every Yule. Generate some goodwill with the people.
I think that's a good idea.
Bankrupt our competition, buy them out cheap. Expand.
That could work. Do we really want to bankrupt?
No, I'm kidding. Healthy competition is the best for any economy.
Exactly.
But the goodwill of the people will always win out.
I'm also wondering about maybe next year inviting the orphans to lunch.
That raises a good point. Out of character, how's the homeless population in the town, in the city?
I don't know. Have you checked?
Sounds good.
I mean,
Not recently.
I'm pretty sure that if there were people like just lying on the streets, we'd notice.
Let me perhaps recheck this to you. Retsam, how many times have you been to the lower city recently?
Not often enough.
So the answer to your question is you don't know.
Okay.
Let me just to be blunt. That it's difficult to describe how this city is basically like people who there's haves, there's have-nots, have enough, and then there's people who have too much.
Question.
And your lower level is your people who are the have-nots, if you will.
Because that's going to make beds for them all.
Mm-hmm.
Out of moss.
Yeah.
Would he have a rough idea how it was? How many, like...
You helped like maybe 15 of them. And that was in like one alleyway.
I mean, there were certainly enough of them.
Because I'm
not
thinking...
sure we're inviting people who survive off alcohol and alcohol alone is a great idea to invite into a tab.
What I'm thinking is, next Yule, especially if this winter persists, we maybe rent out a shop front, maybe make some soup, some fresh bread, so at least they have a decent, nutritious meal over the Yule period.
I mean, why can't we do that now?
I mean, we can literally get Chris to do that now while we're going, like while we're away. But I'm just talking about planning for the future.
I mean, we literally just got given a lot of money. What would be to stop us investing some of that into a shop front with perhaps some space for some small rooms? Because I can't imagine sleeping out in this is going to be fun.
I mean, I'm happy to take this as far as you want to go. If we want to start putting employment projects in place so that they can actually start like earning a living, maybe getting their own place, get off the streets, then let's do it. We're just going to have this competitive thing where we like up the level of how much we're going to try and invest in the lower levels here.
And somewhere Chris is like, I just want to sleep. Just want a full night's rest.
I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't.
And a night of good spirits. Retsam and Zanzyk invented the YMCA.
GA, thank you very much.
SA?
Yes, SA?
Salvation Army.
Sorry, I thought you were saying SA as in
No.
Hispanic. What's up, my friend?
No.
I would just like to point out for Kat, the YMCA isn't a gym over here. It's a hostel, kind of, for homeless teenagers.
Really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's this. The YMCA in the States is the same company, but a completely different function.
Just yeah, the YMCA here in the States, it's more fitness and stuff. Well,
Yeah.
And
Well-
that was a nice cultural segue there from Beth, explaining to our American listeners the difference between the British YMCA and the American YMCA. Please
Either
note,
way, we're not doing a Christian association, it's a Gandhian association.
why can't it be mixed faith association, Retsam?
Why would we have to bring faith in this?
Somebody
Why can't
else
it just be a
labeled it a
goodwill?
religious organization.
Why can't
I
it
mean,
just be a
that's why it
goodwill
said the
association?
YMCA rather than the Sally Bash, to be fair.
And for our American audience, please welcome yourselves to a drop course. Holy hell, I can't speak. A crash course in British cultural references.
How much are we going to put into this?
$1 million.
How much is that in Electrum?
Ha, ha.
Sorry, how much is it in shit? No, I
Well-
think it's fucking electric.
I mean, I
Sorry.
want to call it a school next door, but college perhaps could create some vocational courses for them.
Maybe have like a adult learning scheme at night.
Well, no, that is going to be there as well, especially to teach things like how to write common and stuff
You
like that.
motherfuckers are forming a night school.
Oh, that was already part of the plan.
They've
Ladies,
just built Colchester Institute, Ross.
what they've done is they're bringing education to the masses.
And medication. And healing.
Ladies and gentlemen, send help.
No.
State education and healthcare is the thing now.
No, it's not. It's all
private.
private. It's all private. They could make an absolute mint off of this.
Mm-hmm.
You fuckers. Chris loves and hates this idea.
Mhm.
Chris is like, I just wanted to sell fucking alcohol, and I'm running like 3 schools and an hospital. This
Okay.
shit.
I'm sure he's hired people to do this.
Chris is like, I've hired so many people now. He's like, Chris is just sat there going, I just run an empire now. That's what I do.
ever thought about hiring someone to help Chris out with all this stuff?
But then Chris would have to hire the person to help him.
Like an
And
assistant?
he kind of refuses to do that. Well, we had Brian for a while.
Actually, it's not the case. Chris did mention in passing he has actually hired help.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't tell
But-
us who it was.
How effective was that help?
They haven't started work yet because Yule was coming up.
That's hardly our fault. We just have more plans than they have time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we
So
just
it's
got the
going
money
bad.
from.
Hmm?
We just got the money from.
From my last gig.
Yeah. So we're not short on money.
We can invest a fair amount in it. What I would like to try and do long term is try and speak to some of the local businesses if they will go in with us on this.
I think that's. I mean, especially some of the businesses in the lower end. If we can stop people sleeping in their shop doors, they might be willing to spend money or time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If people learn how to do stuff, that's more money in circulation. That's going to be more business for business.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in order to run a soup kitchen, we're going to need more farming area than I have available here.
We can see about expanding the chocolate farms outside the city to cover more food. Don't forget, we also have every cabbage ever made ever.
Oh, yes. That is also true.
My cabbages.
Cabbages!
Azury, there's a story there that you'll have to tell about in character.
Did anyone tell Celeste about the cabbages?
Nope.
Oh. Do
You
you reckon
guys-
Celeste knows why she has cabbage in almost every meal?
Celeste, do you know why you have cabbage in almost
She's
every
gone to
meal?
bed. She's gone to bed. She said she'd go to bed. Literally, you guys have been talking for so long. Every other person that requires 8 hours of sleep has fucked off to bed.
Well, that's hardly our fault that they operate on the wrong timescale.
It's nearly 1 a.m. and you're just like, yep, we got this.
Hold on. You're supposed to sleep for 8 hours too.
I'm
you
staying
two.
up and sleeping throughout most of tomorrow.
Plus, he can never admit defeat to Satan.
Yeah.
Satan has the advantage. He doesn't need to go to bed till 4 a.m.
So, we will need to explain the cabbage conundrum to Celeste in the morning.
Maybe
Wait.
we see how long it actually takes her to ask.
Did we tell Alice about the cabbages?
No.
You didn't tell the
think
two
so.
humans about the cabbages?
Mate, we could take wages on how long it takes them to realize they have cabbage every day.
You won't believe how long it would take them to notice.
I mean, we can just feed them like cabbage and cheese soup.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that one of the ingredients in the vegan sausage? Fermented cabbage.
Yes.
Nice.
What do you think they use as the sausage skin, mate?
So we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this.
Nice.
I mean, to be
Christmas-
honest, I'm surprised it took us 2 years to get to this point.
This is, I mean, we were focused on helping out the orphanage, getting this place up and running, and then
Your
supporting
hospital.
that. Well, we had to support it with the brewery,
Yeah.
and then, I mean, the two buildings next to us were just an opportunity we couldn't miss.
Okay. When we get back from the Underdark, we should see about calling a general meeting of business operators in the area.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
It sounds like a plan.
Chris wants to buy another tavern in. What was the city name?
You don't know.
You said
Because-
because I
Yeah,
just had the
he's
conversation.
gone either Belcrest or Westbridge because that's where
Ah.
he sent Blitz to go and scope out some
That was
places.
it. Are we gonna essentially take what we do here and do that? Because we're gonna have to get I don't know, fundraising going at this rate.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna be constantly like beating on demon lords, which can be very dangerous.
I mean, if we beat on a few and learn how to do it, then it's going to get easier, and over time we'll be able to like beat on them quicker and with less personal threat to ourselves.
I mean, that sounds logical, but I somehow doubt it to be true.
I mean, one day I'm pretty sure that I'll just be able to punch them in the Nevers until they return to the Never.
And thus, Retsam's grand strategy of the dick punch was born.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So
Banishing smite. Sorry. Sorry. Take Tavern Brawl aside, that you're proficient with anything you pick up. You're banishing smite when you just hold a rock in your hand, you smack it to a Demon Lord's crown jewel, so banishing smite him. Oh, sorry. I'm far too easily amused.
you do realize we still need to name the hospital and the school.
I thought we had discussed a name for the hospital.
I mean, we potentially were going to call it Deckard's Memorial, but I feel like Memorial's very morbid.
Little
I
bit.
also feel Deckard might be better suited to the school because he was all about books. I mean, I think I rarely saw him without his head in a book.
So you're saying about Deckard's high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll think about a name for the hospital. It'll be fine.
Mm.
We'll call it something like Sacred Heart or something like that.
What city are we in?
Frey Hollow.
Hey, hello.
Oh, Frey Hollow General.
I mean, if we call it general, then we're indicating that there may be like specialized practices of medicine. I
True.
don't know much about medicine, but are there?
I mean,
Just getting nods from the
clerics.
DM.
DM
Necro
hurts
clerics.
neck. DM hurts neck, nodding very vigorously at the other player who has
See-
expertise in this.
One cleric does generalized medicine. The other cleric is a proctologist.
One cleric is a mortician.
I mean, that's just great clerics.
And one cleric is a fuck you, now I'm over there cleric.
Yeah, clerics, druids. I don't know. We'll think of something around the city, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's... I mean, Frey Hollow General isn't a bad name. Frey Hollow Generalized Medicine. Just in case people don't
Yes.
understand.
Frey Hollow Hospital. Might be fancy.
I have a suggestion as the DM.
Dangerous.
What about Mid-City Garden Park?
What?
Mid-City Garden Park.
You're in the middle of the city, you'll buy a park and you have a garden.
This is true. They'll think of it at some point.
You guys will get there eventually. To this point, Retsam, you can make a Constitution saving throw.
Of course I can, for I am so constitute right now. 25.
Even on 25, you are getting very tired.
Well, with my sandwich finished and talks of hospital and sugar plum fairies in my head, I shall make my way to bed, Satan.
I think I will follow you. I will spend some time in the garden in the morning.
I shall sleep in and waken to some cabbage soup, no doubt.
Most likely. I'll leave I'll leave notes for Chris in the morning.
As I slowly plodding upstairs, as you hit say cabbage soup in the morning, you say cabbage and carrot from Chris, who's fallen asleep on the stairs.
Do we need to get him a blanket?
We probably should. I don't think either of us are going to lift him.
I mean, I think it'll be warm enough, but we should probably get him a pillow.
Fair. I'll grab him. And I'll run upstairs and grab a pillow and bring it down for him.
The Dragonborn is much too heavy for you guys to move.
I think you'll find that's accurate.
Yeah. Sorry, but yes.
Right, well, Retsam is going to not sacrifice any of his pillows. He's going to bed.
Fair. And all the players at bed for the end of Yule Day. At a convenient stopping point, I will draw this session of the Wandering Party to a close. Thank you, players. And thank you,
Thank you,
listeners.
DM.